My phone is my bank.
Sambat Mobile Banking. Convenient, easy, saves time. Sambat Bank, we present your future.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Nadim Majid.
A very good evening to you. I'm Florin Rajendran. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
President inspects the facilities at the kidney hospital in Maligawatta. UNP announces program for rural development. Former central bank governor extends a challenge to the Prime Minister over the controversial bond issue.
Elections
Commissioner's approval should be sought prior to providing security for candidates who are not former MPs.
President Maithripala Sirisena engaged in an inspection tour at the kidney hospital in Maligawatta today.
According to the presidential media unit, the president conducted the inspection after he received information that kidney transplant operations at the hospital had come to a halt since last September. According to specialists at the Maligawatta hospital, kidney transplants had ceased after the intensive care unit at the hospital was found to be contaminated. They informed the president that though they had brought this up with the relevant officials, no action had been taken to restore the operations at the ICU. 52 successful kidney transplants have been carried out since July 2014 to July this year. The President's Media Division said that the President instructed the Presidential Task Force to immediately intervene and to restore operations at the intensive care unit and carry out daily inspections on its operation as well as to work on preventing kidney-related diseases. Moreover, President Maithripala Sirisena had also instructed the Secretary to the Ministry of Health that land adjacent to the hospital belonging to the Provincial Council be handed over to the hospital. The President also looked into the well-being of the patients and their relatives at the hospital.
As campaigning for the 2015 general election gathers momentum, the leaders of the two main political parties have stressed on the need for better healthcare and employment in the country.
They are thinking of the country only now. For the past 10 years, they have only been nurturing their own families. You have President Maithripala Sirisena, who is from Polonnaruwa. It is true when he said that Mahinda Rajapaksa did not provide the necessary funds to purchase medical equipment while he was serving as the Minister of Health. However, money was given to purchase Lamborghinis, Benz cars and build mansions. So as the first measure, we would bring down 1,000 machines to fight kidney diseases. There are around 20,000 villages in the country. We will take all of these villages and develop them into 2,500 cluster villages.
If the country continues to move forward this way, the people will only see a bunch of skeletons. The way we see it is, the government of Ranil Wickremesinghe is introducing an economy which aggravates the level of malnutrition. Is this what we voted for? The people who voted for good governance did not vote for them either. We voted for Maithripala Sirisena. This is something which they claimed by force without taking any responsibility. As you say, they even targeted pharmaceuticals. The price of medicine increased by 25%. Good governance pickpocketed the people and they stole the medicine from the ill.
The plan of our party is to create 1 million job opportunities in the country, out of which I will bring 200,000 jobs to the Hambantota district. It was under the UNP government of my father, when a local government election was created, that a rule was established in the country that 40% of the youth must be given candidacy. No matter how much they blabber about the youth, this 40% rule was removed by Mahinda Rajapaksa's government.
Let's now take a look at some of the views expressed on the political stage.
We reduced the prices of goods while being a minority government. We reduced the taxes by 100 rupees for 4 cans of canned fish, 2 packets of milk and undu flour. Taxes were reduced for the people in the states. The prices of goods reduced because we reduced the taxes. They piled on taxes upon taxes and put pressure on the people to pay for their thievery.
The country knows what the UNP did over the past 5 to 6 months. They reduced the prices of 13 goods, but with the exception of coriander, all the other prices have risen. They say they have reduced the cost of living, when in fact it has increased. All of the development activity in the country has come to a halt. For 20 years, we were not able to govern the country. When India and China were still on the ground, we created Gamudava, introduced the apparel industry and built the Mahaveli scheme. What did the Rajapaksas do? They built the Hambantota port, the Mattala airport, Lotus Star and the Lotus lamp, but there were no jobs. There was no income. All of us must pay 300 billion in debt to China. You are paying for the sins of the Rajapaksas. The Rajapaksas took commissions and put it in their pockets. Ranil Wickremesinghe had a singular hope. His strategy was that the UNP would be victorious if we were divided. Ranil Wickremesinghe did everything he knew to ensure that Mahinda would not contest from the beetle leaf. But we were able to maintain the unity in our party to protect the alliance. Those who were against Mahinda being given a nomination from our party could not remain in the party anymore. That is why all of them have gone to the UNP.
Sri Lanka Nidas Pakshe reka ganna Mahinda Rajapaksa mehtumaa අපේ පක්ෂේ නාම යෝජනා ගන්නවට අකමැති වෙච්ච අයට තව දුරටත් අපේ පක්ෂේ ඉන්න පුළුවන් කමක් තිබුණා. ඒ නිසා තමයි ඒ අත්තන් සියල්ල UNP එකට ගියේ.
Last September, while I was functioning as a cabinet minister, I met with Ranil Wickremesinghe and said we were aware of the game being played by Mahinda Rajapaksa and that we were watching as cabinet ministers. As the finance minister, he would rush through all of the proposals with the highest debt burden at the very end, and we would be unable to even look at it and even question why it is being rushed. I used to take these proposals home. I have about 10 or 15 such cabinet papers at home. The program of the SLFP can never be implemented while Mahinda Rajapaksa and those rogues are there. That is why we went beyond the party and created the United National Front on behalf of the needs of the country and joined with the UNP. The President has said clearly that he is not prepared to return the former corrupt group to power. My friends, do not waste your vote. You have a duty to provide a government that is able to work with President Maithripala Sirisena, who will be President for the next 5 years. What we need is a government that identifies and resolves the problems faced by the people. Today, the beetle leaf has come together to contest this election. We are all working together as one group. I say to you that after this parliamentary election, when it comes to choosing a prime minister, we will take the appropriate decision at the appropriate time, be it through a vote or any other system. Mahinda Rajapaksa, who sat on the seat of the president, is shamelessly attempting to return by contesting a parliamentary election so he can use the power of parliament to implement the theft and thuggery they undertook for several years. Now they are asking whether Mahinda will return, if this demon will become prime minister, if the country will be ruined. This is what they are asking. Mahinda Rajapaksa cannot become prime minister. It is unconstitutional. Have this engraved in your heads. All the elephants are coming into this election. They have risen and have rubbed ash on their faces. They are coming with a major 5-year, 5-point program. We will end the era where grown-up children become a burden to their parents because they don't have a job. We have drafted a program to recruit 2,000 students to each of the 18 technical colleges. It is only the UNP that has both the capability and the experience. Some politicians think that once they get this power, they can do anything. These politicians have no fear at all. When one is a politician and they receive a mandate from the people, they must fulfill the aspirations of the people. I entrust this choice to the people. Are we going to vote for the people who will destroy this country, or are we going to vote for the guardian demigods who will protect the country? We are not campaigning with the people's money. We are not using that money for our personal affairs. Even President Maithripala Sirisena is not spending that money on his children. Ranil Wickremesinghe is not using it on his family. None of his brothers are engaged in any government activity.
You can count the number of educated people in Parliament using your fingers. Learned people must enter Parliament. You should be governed by educated people. You should be led by them. Since the day my father was murdered by a drug peddler from a certain party, I have been fighting. I have been fighting against drugs and these murderers. I can say with pride that this young girl of 27 years, over 3 years, ranted, raved, cried and even made supplications with coconuts, and in the end the drug peddler did not get a nomination. It will be none other than Hirunika Premachandra who destroys the political life of the person who has destroyed our lives.
Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya met with representatives of political parties today to discuss matters pertaining to campaigning.
The meeting was held at the Elections Secretariat. Additional Elections Commissioner M.M. Mohammed said that party representatives were instructed that staging of street dramas as part of election campaigning can only take place with the permission from the Elections Commissioner. The Elections Commissioner had also instructed that large LED screens be limited to the compounds of party officers. The Additional Elections Commissioner went on to note that discussions were held with regard to providing security for candidates who have not served as parliamentarians before. Party representatives were notified that security can be provided to these candidates subsequent to the approval of the Elections Commissioner.
Speaking at a media briefing at the opposition leader's office today, UPFA General Secretary Susil Premajayantha refuted rumours about the causes of his hospitalisation last week.
The final draft of the manifesto of the UPFA is being prepared. Leaders of the party met this morning and we discussed this matter over, and everyone presented their ideas and proposals. So in a few days' time we intend on presenting the contents of our manifesto. Last week a non-governmental organisation had held a public meeting in Nugegoda, but I do not know what authority they have to do so. A particular individual had said that Susil Premajayantha was hospitalised on the final day of nominations because Mahinda Rajapaksa had attacked him. I am very disappointed that someone can take a false story of Facebook or some other website and make it their own. No one can assault me like that, neither will I get assaulted from anyone like that. I have done no such thing either.
ලාමක වීම ගැන. එහෙම මට කාටවත් ගහන්නත් බෑ. මම කාගෙවත් කුටි කන්නෙත් බෑ.
Speaking at a media briefing held today, Minister of Mass Media Kayantha Karunathilaka recounted a series of events which transpired prior to a rally in Anuradhapura recently.
පහුගිය දවස්වල සන්ධානයේ රැලියක්
The UPFA held a rally in Anuradhapura recently. Before this, everyone who participated at a rally paid homage to the Sri Mahabodhiya. However, it was only the candidates and the upper hierarchy who were given access to the upper terrace or the Udamalu of the temple. When former Minister Geethanjana Gunawardena was in the upper terrace, someone snatched his wallet. Now remember, it was just the candidates and the upper hierarchy who were present at the upper terrace. After a while, his wallet was found empty and discarded outside of the Udamalua. So if they can pickpocket one of their own, imagine how much of the public's money they can pickpocket.
ජනතාවගේ මුදල් කොයි විදියට පොකට් ගහයිද කියන එක කාටවත් හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන්.
With candidates going all out to obtain the precious vote for a seat in Parliament, what does the public have to say?
Several people come here and request for vote, but it is of no use to us. Now that they need our vote, they will offer us things like deeds and so on. But after the elections, nothing will come of it.
They are building mansions and keeping to themselves. They won't even look back at us.
They come beg into our houses, but after the election, we won't matter to them. When someone approaches us, we must look into them. Is he a good man? Will they help us? Will they work to just keep their own stomachs full? Let us use our vote by looking into all of this.
Politicians come to our villages asking for our vote only during an election. But after the elections, we have to beg from them.
Politics is a myth and a lie. They come to us with all praise. It's the same with our village. There is no development whatsoever. Ministers and MPs think we are ignorant. However, this time we will not be fooled.
We have to let go of all our foolishness.
There is a profound belief that democracy flourishes not only through government, but through the actions and the will of its people, you. As you head towards the polls on the 17th of August, remember to elect representatives who are committed to you and to our country.
Think before you vote.
Speaking at separate occasions, opposition members continued to attack the government over the controversial central bank bond transaction.
Take a look at the central bank bond issue. Parliament was dissolved to prevent the COPE report from being released. The central bank has incurred a loss of 6 billion rupees through this. This is the amount spent annually on education, to pay the wages of 240,000 teachers, provide books and uniforms to 4.2 million children, and to maintain schools. So now who are the rogues who have got caught red-handed? I have previously said that I am ready for an open discussion on the fraud which took place with the involvement of the central bank governor. But my invitation has still not been accepted. Come for an open discussion and I will show who the real rogue is. I have said who the rogue is on a previous occasion as well. The country knows about this rogue now. They even know that Arjuna Mahendran is not the actual bond thief. I would like to speak about this. Tell them to come and let's debate on it, because I have all the facts and figures to prove all of this. So the Prime Minister can come forward if he likes. When he does, I am ready to expose the story to the entire country. If he does not, it is advisable that he stops saying what he is saying. The Prime Minister has defied the powers of the Speaker of Parliament by obtaining an enjoining order from court, preventing the COPE report from being released and the public from reading it. Why is he afraid? Why? The people will read and decide who is wrong. Anura Bandaranaike decided when an interim order against Parliament was issued at a previous occasion as well that no interim order can be issued against Parliament. Thereby Ranil Wickremesinghe has created a conflict between the legislature and the judiciary. Where are the Latima House rules?
Earlier today, I caught up with Professor Rajiv Vijayasinghe on Newsline. Professor Rajiv Vijayasinghe is one of these people who left Mahinda Rajapaksa's government and now he has left Maithripala's government too. Professor, what do you have to say about this?
Well, in the first place, I haven't left Maithripala Sirisena's government, or rather Maithripala Sirisena, because I believe that Maithripala Sirisena had a lot of very good ideas, and these have been absolutely betrayed by this government. It was the same thing that happened to me last year. Because while I felt Mahinda Rajapaksa had done an enormous contribution to the country towards the end of last year, I felt that he was not moving forward, that many things in the manifesto were not being done, and corruption was increasing. There was less accountability. And we wrote to him, saying we could not support him if there were not a few reforms. Had there been a few reforms, we would have supported him. But we were ignored. The left parties were also ignored. They had not said they would leave. But I had said so, and we stand by our word.
Mr. Rajiv Vijayasinghe, you think Maithripala Sirisena hasn't done his duty as a president?
I think he could have done much more to enforce his manifesto.
What if Chandrika Bandaranaike supports the UNP?
The UNP will be very funny. Yeah. Because although she was full of dislike of Mahinda Rajapaksa, she has never accused him of killing her husband. And the allegations she used to make against Ranil Wickremesinghe, including all the issues of Batalanda. And, there were also allegations that it was not the JVP, it was the UNP that was behind the killing of Vijay Kumaratunga. So I think people will find it deeply astonishing that she, who has engaged in very direct attacks on UNP rule, and don't forget, Ranil is still there, the rest of the UNP perhaps could say we were not involved, that she should now be supporting that.
You think he will stand out for corruption?
I have always done so, as you know perfectly well, over the last couple of years.
Chief Minister of the Western Province, Prasanna Ranatunga, and his wife were questioned by the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division for several hours today.
Prasanna Ranatunga and his wife were questioned over allegations regarding the misappropriation of land in Kolonava reportedly worth 5 million rupees.
They recorded our statement for more than 5 hours. I also believe they recorded our statement on more than 15 papers. I told them that if the need arises, they could summon me at any time and I would give my fullest support to this investigation.
Meanwhile, Chairman of Avant-Garde Security Services, Nisanka Senadipati, was also called in for questioning at the FCID today.
I do sports and also provide assistance to sports. I do this with Carlton, so they were questioning me on how I did it. It is not a big issue, just a minor one.
Meanwhile, the leader of the People's National United Front for Good Governance, or PNUF-GG, Susil Kindelpitiya, spoke about the acquisition of land alleged to have taken place in Kolonnawa.
A massive operation was underway under the UPFA government, especially with the assistance of politicians at the divisional level to illegally reclaim lowlands. This is happening even now. We have evidence to prove that this is being done in collusion with members of the underworld, instilling fear and intimidating owners. There were instances where deeds were forged and lands were sold to third parties. We have information that provincial council ministers at the highest level were involved in this matter.
මේ අමාත්‍යවරු ඉහළ තනතුරු දරන අය මේවට සම්බන්ධ වුණා කියලා.
Welcome back to the news. Police have begun investigations in Colombo into a child who went missing in Kilinochchi a month ago, whose body was found yesterday.
Clothes were found in a paddy field close to the Uruthirupuram Amman Kovil in Kilinochchi last evening. The police, acting on this lead, later discovered the dismembered remains of the child. The body is suspected to be of 3-year-old Chandrakumar Jerusa, who went missing from the Ellukadu area on the 21st of June.
The doctor said that this is a possible murder. They said an investigation will be carried out after sending the remains to Colombo. We will only get to know about the final results after Tuesday. They did not let the mother have a look at the remains of what is believed to be of her child. If the child died a natural death, there is no way her remains would be scattered. Even though various assumptions were made that the child may have been taken away by the devil, bitten by a snake or eaten by a crocodile, we did not believe him. We did not believe them. The remains were found 3 to 4 kilometers away from the house. The child could have not walked that far by herself. We request the police to expose the mystery behind this death.
The child's remains were found in a paddy field 4 kilometers away from the house at around 3 p.m. yesterday. The child's mother and relatives have identified the child by looking at the clothes that were found on the body. The acting magistrate of Kilinochchi and the judicial medical officer arrived at the scene yesterday. The JMO took the remains of the body for further investigations. The Kilinochchi police have commenced investigations into the incident. Following the JMO's investigation, we will know the cause of death.
අධිකරණ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරියේ පරීක්ෂණයෙන් අනතුරුව දැනගත හැකි වෙනවා මෙම මරණයට හේතුව කුමක්ද යනවා.
The police have arrested 3 suspects in the gang rape of a 15-year-old girl in the Polhunnawa area in Mitiagoda. Police media spokesperson ASP Rohan Gunasekara said that the girl was gang raped in the Ambalangoda and Dikwala areas.
The girl was taken from her home on the 14th of this month, allegedly by the sister of a youth who she had an affair with. According to the information they have received thus far, police say that the suspects had planned to lure the girl to Mathura, where they planned to rape her. The girl was found when her family, with the assistance of the police, acted on a tip-off they received that the girl was with 3 individuals at the Ambalangoda bus station. The victim was first admitted to the Balapitiya base hospital, after which she was transferred to the Karapitiya teaching hospital for further treatment. The police said that a search operation is underway for the female suspect and another individual.
News1st recently reported on the harassment of an individual who provided information to the police regarding a stock of heroin which was smuggled into the country via the sea. This individual was taken into police custody once again last evening.
While the Thoduwawa beach in Maravilla has been identified as an exchange point for heroin smuggled from India, information on recent exchange came to light on the 12th of June when a boat carrying a stock of heroin capsized. This person noted that when he discovered that the bags were carrying heroin and not ganja, he had informed the police.
A vessel approached while I was on the beach. It capsized. When such things happen, we go there to help as villagers. We asked them what was in the boat. He said it was ganja.
However, he was later accused of having hidden away a portion of the stock of heroin. As such, Asantha Kumara Fernando was taken into police custody once again last evening. I was asleep at about 3:30 last afternoon when they came and called out to me. Kumar went out of the house and all of a sudden they grabbed him by the neck and started assaulting him. They came in a bike. There were 2 of them and 2 other boys. The police claim that Asantha was arrested today. Police media spokesperson ASP Ruan Gunasekara said that the suspect had 200 milligrams of heroin on his person at the time of the arrest. The police media spokesperson claims that this telephone conversation was false.
Well, that's a wrap of tonight's edition of Primetime News. For the News1st team, I'm Florin Rajendran.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Remember, you can follow us on our trilingual Twitter handle on news1st.lk/Twitter and like us on Facebook by logging on to news1st.lk/Facebook to get the latest news updates with just the click of the button. Good night and good luck.